What's good, what's good, YouTube? Greetings, greetings, greetings. American ROX back at it for this Grand Slam delivery. Show you that this whole scheme of return, year of return, is nothing but a scheme, a tourism industry boost, economical venture, and all those people who are in it, they're getting paid. They're not but paid agents trying to deceive the original people from the Americas to leave their homeland, abandon their homeland, and go to a place they have no bloodline connection to, no tangible relative they could, um, uh, you know, communicate with, no tangible relative to say, hey, I'm gonna give you a call right now and speed dial. Hey, my cousin, how are you? Hey, auntie, how are you? There's no tangible relative over there. It's all a theory. You know what I mean? It's all an idea. It's all a deception. Just like the American colonization society, right? So check this out. The Gold Coast, right? This is what Ghana was, so-called Ghana was called before it was called Ghana in 1957, right? So this is not too long, so long ago. So how you calling yourself a Ghanaian if Ghana is less than 100 years old? The colony of Ghana, when before it was the colony of Gold Coast, was the British colony called the Gold Coast on the Gulf of Guinea. Which are you? Are you a Gold Coastian, a Ghanaian, or a Gulf of Guinean? Come on, people, stop playing with me, man. Which is it, man? Because you got three different names for an area that was occupied by the British. And check this out. The Gold Coast was a British colony on the Gulf of Guinea in West Africa from 1867 to its independence as a nation of Ghana in 1957. 1867? Wait a minute. Didn't slavery abolish in didn't the transatlantic trading of slaves ended in 1807? Whoa, that's 60 years after the transatlantic slave trade. Wow, 60 years, and you only colonize it after the fact, and then now you're gonna tell the people, original people of the Americas, that they're from Ghana? You got to be kidding me, man. You got to be kidding me. The first European explorers to arrive at the coast were Portuguese in 1471. They encountered a variety of African kingdoms, some of which controlled substantial deposits of gold in 1483. Now, Britain took over the Americas in like early to mid 1600s, right? And they claim they imported all these African slaves from Africa. How are they going to import slaves from Africa when they haven't been in Africa before 1867? Check this out. Between 1662 and 1807, Britain shipped 3.1 million Africans across the Atlantic Ocean in the transatlantic slave trades. Africans were forcibly brought to British-owned colonies in the Caribbean and sold as slaves to work on plantations. Those engaged in the trade were driven by a huge financial gain to be made both in the Caribbean at home in Britain. So they occupied the Americas in 1662, as early as 1662, they say. I know it was way earlier than that, but they occupied it. They say between this time they were shipping Africans. Britain. But how is it they're gonna ship Africans where then they didn't occupy Africa to begin with during that time? It was after the fact. Come on, people. Come on now. All you frauds, man, trying to deceive the people, man. Cut it out, man. Y'all looking stupid out here. Y'all looking stupid out here. We need a kente cloth and all that shit. We over here, we don't wear kente cloth, man. Nah, man. We wear plaid. You know what I'm saying? The Arawaks were plaid. You see me? We don't wear no kente cloth, man. All right? Just the ones that got misled in that into all that Africa nonsense. They're trying to fit in. They're trying to fit the narrative. Anyway, the British slave trade ended in 1807, making the buying and selling of slaves from Africa illegal. Right? However, slavery itself, see, there's a difference between slavery itself and the buying and selling of slaves from Africa. Right? Had not ended. It was not until 1st of August 1834. Even within that, it's still they still that's way after. So you have no you have no leg room, man, to import no slaves, man. You have nothing. There's nothing to work with. There's no timeline. Okay, so if you're gonna say, okay, Spain, Spain was here first, and Spain uh, bring Africans. Okay, what Africans did Spain bring? Wasn't it the exiled ones that they fight that they finally um conquered in 1492 and was exiling them over here, and they called them those Africans. Hmm? This is called the Iberian Union, right? This is the only time. This is the earliest time Spain had a foothold involved with Africa, and it only lasts for 60 years. And the height of the slave trade, as how they put it, was between the 1600s and the early 1800s. So this is Portugal and Spain union, right? So the Iberian Union was the dynastic union of the Kingdom of Portugal and the Spanish crown between 1580 and 1640, bringing the entire Iberian Peninsula as well as the Portuguese overseas possessions under the Spanish Habsburg King, uh, second Philip II, Philip III, Philip IV. Who was in the Iberian? Let me see. Let's go. Let's go, man. See, you gotta put the puzzle together, man, to get the big picture. The Black Latinos, right? Or Negros Latinos, right? Were Hispanicized Black Latinos. These were the damn Moors, man, that got overthrown, man. Exiled to Spanish America after having spent time in Spain, they were referred to as Negros Latinos, cultivated or Latinized blacks, as opposed to Negros Bozales, blacks captured in Africa and tied on like domesticated beasts. But that was in Africa. That wasn't over here to prevent them from escape. The Black Latinos' skills granted them a higher price than those of the Bozales, right? Black Latinos were Negroes, Creoles, Creole blacks, Creoles of color. So that's where you get the Creole from, right? Because these were the people who got exiled from Europe, from Spain, to come over here. They call them Creoles, right? Prior to the arrival of Columbus, the Americas, there were black people living who either lived as freemen, were brought to the Arab slave trade, or the Castilian or Portuguese colonization of Africa. After some time in Spanish society, those Africans became Christianized and learned Spanish. That's BS. These were the people that Isabella and Ferdinand conquered and exiled them. There were 50,000 black Latinos in Spain in the 15th century. After the initial stage of Spanish colonization of the Americas showed that Amerindians were not suitable for labor that the conquerors required, mainly due to the Eurasian illness unknown in the Americas. Right? I'm gonna show you that's bullshit. Check this out. Remember I tell you about the repartiment to the encomiendas? But they don't talk about that. Huh? How come they didn't tell you that they were enslaving the indigenous people over here through the encomienda? right? So check this out. Repartimiento. In colonial Spanish America, a system by which a crown allowed certain colonists to recruit indigenous people for forced labor. The repartimiento system, frequently called mita in Peru, and the catequil, a Spanish language corrupted Nahuatl in New Spain, Mexico, was in operation as early as 1499, right? And was given definite form about 1575, or about 5% of the indigenous peoples. Yeah, sorry about that. A little break up there. But anyway, let's continue, man. Where was I? 1499, I was given definite form about 1575. About 5% of the indigenous peoples in a given district might be subject to labor in mines, and about 10% more for seasonal agriculture. Now, let's get back to here. They say these people are working in mines, right? So, you say Castile exiled hundreds of black slaves primarily to work as miners. They were working along with these people, amongst us, right? This is where you got the Creole culture coming, because they started mixing in terms of like, but these are not Africans. These are the original Spanish people who got exiled, right? So these are the very few people that came here, okay? It was no millions and no slaves. That's bullshit. Percent more for seasonal agricultural work. A colonist who wanted to, a repartiment had to apply to the viceroy of the Audiencia, stating that the supplemental labor required on his plantation or ranch or in his mine would provide the country with essential food and goods. Legally, the work period was not exceed 2 weeks, 5 in the mines, 3 or 4 times annually, and wages were to be paid. Those requirements were practically ignored. However, and because the forced laborers were often brutally treated, the Spanish government modified the system in 1601 and 1609 under the new arrangement. 25% of the indigenous people in a given district were required to work for Spaniards, but they were free to choose their own employer and term system. Now, this is where you can have the whole rebellion systems, rebellions going on. See, the farmer system was permitted to continue in the mines until the owners could purchase enough enslaved African people to replace the indigenous workers. So this is when, around this time, is when they started taking the Chinese and the coolies over here, right? The new system remained legally enforced to the end of the colonial period in 1820. Right, 1820. That's literally 13 years after the ending of the slave trade. In practice, however, impressment of indigenous peoples under their earlier system continued in spite of additional royal prohibitive legislation in the 17th and 18th centuries. See also in Comienda. So, people, you gotta pay attention, man. Now it's making sense, right? The Gold Coast was nothing but a colony, man. Ghana only formed in 1957, man. Come on, man. Come on now. Wake up, my people. Wake up. I'm saying, do your genealogy, all right? Do your genealogy. Ask your elders, man. They're the only one who could tell you, man. I'm saying, stop listening to these scholars out here, these fraudsters, man. They're misleading you. All right? Peace out.